Stephen's back with us more on set. That tax changes in the US is going to be the big story of the week, pretty much, we think. Republicans' tax overhaul is moving a little bit closer to reality, isn't it?
That's right. We're expecting it to go to a vote in the House of Representatives for a final time later today and on to the Senate as early as tomorrow. If passed, it's set to be the biggest overhaul of the American tax system in 30 years, with analysis from the Non-Partisan Tax Policy Centre showing the bill would lower taxes across the board, but that high earners would benefit the most. Now, the main measures contained in the bill include a cut in the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. The top income tax rate will fall to 37%, and the threshold for the estate tax on inheritance to apply will double to $11 million. Now, President Trump wants the bill signed before Christmas. His daughter Ivanka was speaking to the Fox and Friends programme, and she said that it was on schedule.
But we're going to deliver historic tax reforms, and it's going to happen before Christmas. It's going to be the fulfillment of an enormous campaign promise, and something that's just tremendously important for the American people. So we feel it. This is something the people of this country want. They want simplification. They want a tax code that they can understand.
Well, we know the tax ban's been a big deal for the markets. Everyone watching very closely to see how it will be passed and in what form. Let's take a look at what the markets are opening in Europe today. Pretty flat start to the day, as you can see. London and Frankfurt up slightly. Paris down in the red. Does seem like things are starting to slow down on the markets ahead of the Christmas break at the end of this week. Over in Asia, it was a mixed bag as well, the tax plan. Also going to add the deficit in the United States. That's causing some concern for investors there as well. We saw the dollar weakened, which didn't help shares on the Nikkei in Tokyo. Of course, a weaker dollar makes Japanese exports more expensive.
Now, the Russian cybersecurity company Kaspersky Lab suing the American government. This is for banning its software.
Chief Executive Eugene Kaspersky says the company's right to due process is being denied because it wasn't given a chance to challenge the ruling before it was issued. In September, the US Department of Homeland Security banned 13 federal agencies from using Kaspersky's products over a concern about Russian interference. Kaspersky said that it's never helped any government to spy on its users, and that's why it's appealing this decision.
And we're going to take you to Argentina for this story. Pensioners there have been clashing with the police.
This as lawmakers debate changes to the pension system. Authorities say that 100 people were injured in clashes as demonstrators threw bottles and petrol bombs at police. A debate on the issue last week had to be called off after similar violence. The government then added a bonus payment for pensioners in an effort to calm tensions, but the protesters weren't satisfied. Alison Sargent has the story.
A battle rages outside of Argentina's Congress as lawmakers debate a pension reform that has unions and retirees up in arms. Protesters say it will cut payments, taking money from the poor and the old.
Basically, this reform is hurting the elders, those who are working now and who will have to keep on working.
I'm an 80-year-old retiree, and I'm here to demonstrate against the law that Macri's government wants to pass, because I think it's totally harmful to all of pensioners and retirees.
The reform proposed by Mauricio Macri's conservative government would change the way benefits are calculated, adjusting them every quarter based on inflation, rather than the current adjustments linked to wage increases and tax revenue. The current system keeps benefits in line with past levels of inflation, while the proposed plan would align them with current levels, which are expected to drop. Macri's government says the changes are needed to slash the country's soaring deficit.
Argentina is coming out of 25 years of decline provoked by Perón, and these people have just realized they're losing their privileges.
Protesters aren't going to give in easily. The sound of banging pots and pans carried on into the night on Monday, a symbolic gesture in Argentina, used during riots that forced presidents from office in 2001 during the country's worst economic crisis.
Now, the rest of the day is going to be spent for me with something going round and round in my head, and that is Eartha Kitt and Santa Baby, and it's all Stephen Carroll's fault.
It is all my fault, and that's because of a wealth management fund in London that's managed to estimate how much the list of things the woman in Santa Baby wanted from Santa for Christmas would cost. Of course, they include a sable fur coat, a gold ring, decorations from Tiffany's, a yacht, a duplex apartment. A pretty impressive list. Well, Charles Stanley Wealth Management have put a value on it. They say that the modern day cost of those items would be over €3.5 million, but that excludes the platinum mine, which is by far the most expensive item on the list. That alone would cost over €320 million to buy. So perhaps leave that one off the Christmas list.
Yeah, it depends which country you're in as well, because of inflation, presumably. It keeps going up and up and up.
Exactly. It could be more expensive.
Yeah.